The media is never your friend. They're a bunch of buffoons, especially in sports media. This Shedeur Sanders situation shows exactly what I mean. And let's get into it. Let's get into the educational side of this. Gregory Bateson, in the 1950s, him and his colleagues, they specialized in social sciences and anthropology. They came up with a term called the double bind theory. And this is when you have a communication dilemma. When a person receives two or more conflicting messages and they respond to one message, it automatically violates the other. Automatically. And they found that when you do this to children, when they're younger, and you continue to do this psychological game with them, right? Continue to do. They found that it causes mental illness. And the two major mental illnesses that it can or have a greater chance to cause is paranoia and schizophrenia. Just think about that, right? Let me give you an example. When you have a choice or a parent comes and says, give me a hug. And then the mother say, oh, you always hugging too affectionate. And then they continue to do that. And then they say, okay, well, give me a hug. And you say, no, I don't want to give you a hug. Well, look how you acting. You ain't affectionate. See the psychological game? And they do that in the media. And they not only want to break the player or try to attempt to break this young man's mind, right? The fans of that player takes the brunt of this. And you wonder why later in life, if you think about this, the media does this with your musicians. They do it with your sports players. They do it with your favorite religious or spiritual leaders. And they continue to do this the entire time. They pass this little weak attempts at psychological games down to the next reporter, to the next reporter, to the next media person, to the next media person. And then if the person has children, they attack their children. Don't fall for it. That's why I don't listen to media, especially the Stephen A's, that ex-football player who's washed up coaches, beat writers who were never nothing in life, and so many other people, because they don't stand in truth. They stand in sensationalism. They stand to break your mind down, just evil tactics. That's why I don't listen to any of them. So, because no matter what you do, they're going to have a problem with the catch-22 or no-win situation. You could even give a double bind response. Is there something called a double bind response? Nothing's ever good. So, don't let them get this. That's why I don't understand why you listen to these sports shows. You guys, and you wonder why later in life the schizophrenia comes in. Because it not only happens in children, if you continue to let this bombard, see, the child has the weaker mind, but you as an adult consider it as the stronger mind. But throughout the years of 40 and 50 and 30 and years you listening to this mess, and it's breaking you down mentally, you don't even know it. They're using the double bind theory on you. Even as a watcher, a fan, a viewer who likes a particular person. You got to know how they operate. The media is not your friend. These networks are evil.